here's why I've learned everything I know from TikTok. I literally knew nothing before 2020.
Welcome to Connect to Market. I'm Casey Cheshire. Join us as we learn from marketing leaders who are driving founder-led growth. We're sponsored by Ringmaster, building B2B podcasts and communities to reconnect you with your audience. All right, let's go. This thing is about to launch. But who is my guest today? Well, she is a fellow community member. You may see her in a breakout room on our next session for the community. And she's probably causing trouble in the breakout rooms. But she is also an absolute marketing leader and thought leader. Very strategic, very much about demand and brand and ABM, very solution focused. She's a speaker in many, many places. She was in a Women in Tech panel recently. Vice President of Marketing at Maxwell, Emily Ward. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, wow. I can't believe we got you on the pod. Like, man, this is amazing. So I can't wait to learn from you today. In order to do that, I need to put on my giant blue foam finger and ask you, Emily, what is the number one thing that marketers need to do in order to connect to their market?
I got this. Number one thing marketers need to do to connect to their market is to talk to their customers.
Boom.
The number one thing that so many marketers miss, unfortunately.
Why do you think we missed that?
Yeah, there's a few reasons. Number one, I think marketers sometimes, we're smart people, we're creative, we're strategic. Sometimes we think we know best, right? Sometimes we have ideas in our head that we just want to validate. And sometimes our customers disagree with us. So I think a bit of it is egoic, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing as long as we can push past that and get to some real answers. Second, I think sometimes we're afraid of what they might say. Again, we put together strategies. We think we know our market. Sometimes our customers will say something that completely send us in a different direction. So sometimes opening that door creates change of strategy, more work for marketers, and we're a bit afraid of that. And then the third thing, I think, is sometimes our customers are gate kept for us. And this is where we, as marketers, can make sure that we have those great relationships with our customer success teams and make sure they're a part of any conversations that we have to really make sure that it's strong, that we know exactly what they want us to ask their customers and what is off limits. And that's all about just building trust with your internal teams.
Let's talk about that last one, the gatekeeping that can happen in an organization. Don't talk to my customer. It's my relationship. Now, I get it if someone's hard pitching someone that you built a relate, but this is not that. This is like we need to be able to chat with people. And so people getting in the way, they're the problem. Like, what is this? Is it just like protecting my territory? What is this gatekeeping?
I think it's if you have a really good customer success team, they know that they need to control that narrative with customers. And sometimes they might get a little scared if someone from marketing goes and kind of pokes at them. So
Yep.
I think it's them doing their job, to be honest. But I also think we as marketers need to be able to tell that story to them that, hey, if we can actually go talk to your customer, it can strengthen your relationship. And maybe you're a part of that conversation too, and you can learn something. But it's just going to help us go understand our customers better so we can go get you more customers.
Yes.
So it's really all about the narrative that we as marketers can weave there to make them feel a little more comfortable. And honestly, I don't fault them. They're just doing their job, just like we're trying to do our job. So
That's true.
it's really just having that really solid relationship, and marketing and CS should always be close, in my opinion.
That's so true. But you also bring up, I mean, this is a great list too of the why, so we can address it. The idea that sometimes talking to more customers messes things up a little bit. Like we had the pretty plan, we had the thing that was all lined up. It was everything was all squared away, and then shoot, I talked to them, and then maybe I talked to several of them. I find out, crap, like I don't think our strategy's right, and now we got to redo that, or they actually hate my landing page, or like whatever the case may be. Man, this is now back to the drawing board, or like there's more work involved. I think it's worth calling that out. I'm glad you did, because it's not like, hey, everything's roses and happiness and sunshine when you talk to your customers. You get to dig up their real pain and maybe get some real feedback.
Yeah, but that's where I mean, as marketers, we're looking for that pain, right? We're looking for those pain points so we can figure out how we can address it,
Yeah.
because that's how we win them. That's how we serve them. So yeah, it is what it is. They're going to hopefully be honest with you, but we need to be open-minded to that and to hearing what they have to say. And there are always, I mean, you have to understand kind of that you need a big pool to get an overarching kind of idea of the market. You can't just talk to one, two customers here and assume that everything they say is gospel.
Right.
I promise you, either talking to them directly, listening to sales conversations too, listening to those discovery calls, or even a little further down the funnel, you'll get in the mindset of the people that you're trying to win over. And especially in the B2B side, we're so lucky to have tools to be able to extract that information. So
Yes, man. This is so good. So talk to them. I can totally see the pushback happening. How do I just talk to them? Like, they don't want to talk to me, or do I just email them and I say, how's it going? Like,
there's multiple things you could do. I think it depends. It really depends on your business, right?
yeah,
You could probably in some, B2C situations get away with sending a survey, right? And asking some open-ended questions where you can really get some of that deep feedback.
yeah,
I think in more enterprise environments where you have larger customers with longer relationships, you really need to work through whomever works with them regularly. Um, Again, it's a partnership, and go to market isn't just marketing.
it isn't just marketing.
Yeah.
I like that. It's really, again, the team aspect coming back around.
Yeah.
Who has the relationship, working through them, with them as a partnership with them, not necessarily just trying to take over.
Exactly. And
Okay.
never reach out to the customers without them knowing. I've learned this lesson in my career.
I bet.
I
I
can
bet.
tell you, definitely don't do that. It doesn't matter how good your relationship with that team is. You definitely don't want to step on toes, but you have all of that potential information right there.
Mm.
Why would you not use it? And why would you make assumptions when you have resources to validate or to change things for you?
Do you have any favorite questions you like to ask?
Ooh, pain points. I already said it. I think understanding exactly where where they had a gap before they started using our product and how it's helped them, that is the key to all strategy, all messaging. It's something you can work with SDRs when they're having discovery calls or even some cold calling. Just pain points. That is it. And you can always just start having a conversation. You can always glean some more. You can get stories out of them, which is great. How did you find us? How did,
Right.
what's a success story using our product? And also, bonus, a lot of times these become customer stories or white papers because you start having these conversations and you realize there's a bigger story here. This is maybe one of our premier customers that we can utilize in marketing to feature somewhere else on top of me gleaning all these insights from them. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think pain points is the number one question I would ask, but it always leads kind of down a further path, right? Why did you start looking for us? What was it exactly you were looking for in our competitors? What do they have? You can get some competitor research that, put on your product marketing hat. Um, but it always starts with those pain points and making sure you understand them.
Got it. Oh man, I love the focus on that. Um, are there certain? Is it just as easy as just saying, like, what was the pain? And then I sort of part two to that question is, do people generally understand their pain?
I think so. There's a reason they're looking, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Whether or not we reached out to them cold or they're actively searching for a software maybe to help them, um, they have something in mind, whether it could be as simple as pricing. We're paying
Yep.
too much for this other vendor. We thought maybe you'd have similar features that relate to what we need.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes it's much deeper than that. Sometimes it's we need a tool that does this and this and this, and I see you do this and this and this, so perfect.
Yeah. I guess especially if you're talking to folks who have converted, who have gone down the process, what separates probably them with the people who got stuck at status quo is that they understood that they're experiencing a problem. They're aware enough to seek out a
Exactly.
solution to fix that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I should caveat, I am talking about, B2B SaaS, right?
Yeah. Oh, for
And
sure.
and that's very much a different kind of beast than some other types of marketing. But I think there's a piece of it that rings true across the board, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's a human seeking out it's something to either cure or improve, or yeah,
absolutely.
there's some universality there for sure. Um, yeah, they understand. Tell me, you mentioned the rabbit hole. I love to just sort of like go down the rabbit hole. In this rabbit hole, the idea of taking pain points further. You're asking, hey, when did this start? What triggered this surge? How did we compare to um, our competitors? Any other follow-ups that tend to happen in your experience with those?
Um, yeah, a lot of times we do go down a competitor path,
Sure.
which is very helpful. A lot of times there are things that you didn't think of that maybe your product helps, that maybe you're not marketing right now from a top of funnel perspective, but can spark something that said, that's a great idea. Maybe we should push on that for an email campaign. Or include that in our top of funnel messaging moving forward, because I didn't realize that was something that resonated. But I've learned from you now that it does. I think, yeah, trying to think what else is down that rabbit hole. It varies.
Yeah, well, and I think it's the magic of the follow-up question, right? To your point earlier, sometimes a survey works, but really the gold is when you can ask the second and the third and the fourth question afterward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And really, you kind of turn into a psychologist, right? You're really
Yes.
trying to dive deeper, get them to open up, build that trust. It's a skill.
Yeah.
And not everyone has it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think just the more you do it, the better you are at extracting that information. So,
Yeah, psychologist and or FBI agent, right? Tell me, where were you the night of the 4th? Yes.
we're all Sherlock Holmes, over, right? Just trying to peel back the layer.
Yeah, tell me more. Read them their Miranda rights and then
Right.
ask them your probing questions. Yeah. Okay, so talk to them.
I know it's so simple. Talk to them. Talk to your customer.
Do you have a favorite place or method to do that?
Events are wonderful. Events are great. Um, we are very stringent about setting up meetings with our customers if we know that they're going to be in an event. And sometimes it's a dinner, sometimes it's drinks, sometimes it's just standing at our booth talking to them. That's great because you're at the same place. You tend to have that face to face, which it's good. I think it's positive for marketing to also build up a relationship with the customers, right? And to be able to say hi to them when they're in an exhibit hall or passing them at a conference somewhere. I usually just Zoom, just set up a Zoom,
Yeah.
and as long as they're willing.
What do you say when you're setting up a Zoom, when you're setting up that meeting? Like, I just want to pick your brain for half an hour, or how do you
Yeah,
pose it?
I rely on our customer success team to really set it up because they have those
Mm,
relationships, and sometimes maybe you tack it on to a QBR or something where they're already meeting with us and it's all fresh in their head. It's actually not that difficult. Just ask. A lot of people love talking about themselves, right? And their experiences. So just ask them, "Hey, would you be willing to spend half an hour with me?" Or, if it's the CS team, our marketing team, they really want to hear more about your story. People are flattered to do that.
that's a great point. They do like talking about themselves,
They
for
do.
sure.
And, whether it's good or bad feedback they have for you, they appreciate the ability to share it. So,
Good call. Totally good call.
especially the bad stuff.
You know, Yeah, and I like even this mode. Like I like podcasts for this kind of discovery
Yeah.
with people too. And maybe they're more reticent to share pain points though, because and that's what you had said even was like number one. So
Mm,
if you can get them to share pain points, great. Or maybe share earlier on like a prep call or something. But I love the idea of the pod to like create something
yeah,
together, you know?
absolutely. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, this is crazy. Like, I feel like I'm learning from you so much. And where do you like to learn from? What are your sources?
Oh man, I learn everything I know from TikTok. No, I that was very tongue in cheek.
Can we clip that? Could we clip that? I learned everything from TikTok. Me too.
No one has ever said those words before, and I am happy to own them. No,
Yeah, that'd be like some sick clickbait on LinkedIn, right?
absolutely. Here here's here's why I've learned everything I know from TikTok. I literally knew nothing before 2020. There's my LinkedIn post right there.
There it is. People are like, what the
Uh,
hell is she talking about? And then we like, gotcha.
yeah, exactly. Nope. I am still, and I have been my whole career, a fan of marketing newsletters. I subscribe to Martech. That's a huge one for me. And I have for years. I also like HubSpot Masters in Marketing. I don't even use HubSpot, but I read their content.
Yes.
So that's definitely something a branding play there for anyone in B2B why content is important. Rand Fishkin, who I've followed his entire career
I
pretty
love that guy.
much. He used to be
Yeah.
an SEO. He has Spark Torah now, and they put out some really good thought leadership 5-minute whiteboard videos. And then, I also try to learn a little bit about personal finance here and there. And I like a newsletter called Money with Katie. She also has a podcast. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, but I will be incredibly clear that they are all about the Real Housewives.
Hell
So
yeah. Which
I
one though? Which city?
all of them. I mean, Salt Lake is obviously the best. Like anyone that watches the Housewives knows that. But I watch every show on Bravo, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. And that takes up a lot of space in my brain and also
Yes.
my TikToks. So
Yes. Now, I have to ask you, are you focused on that particular show, or do you branch out ever getting into things like, Married at First Sight or, Love is Blind?
no, it's got to be on Bravo. I am network absolutely
Network focused or
yes. If Andy Cohen does not have himself attached to a project, then I am not watching it.
you're exclusive to a network. Yes.
I'm exclusive, they got me. I am the ideal Bravo customer.
Okay. Now let's go with that for a second. Do you see advertisements on there that make you go, huh? Or they're like, who else is watching this show?
No. I'll be honest, they nail my demographic perfectly.
Do they?
They have Wayfair commercials,
Okay. Yeah.
everything you can imagine. That is right with it. So I admire them as a marketer as well. They're targeted perfectly. I'm right in that demographic.
Well, okay. I mean, I respect that so much because I hate when you like, I'm watching a show. It's like, shout out to
Yeah.
Frasier,
Oh yeah.
old school Frasier. And then, man, I'm getting drug commercials left and right because, the older
Right.
demographic.
Because they think you're of a certain age. Yeah. And then you start getting offended. But I do have to ask, is that because you have your marketer hat on? Do regular people that are not in this space have the same reaction like, "Oh, this network really thinks that I am of a certain age."
That's a great question. I don't know if the common non-marketing folk, the muggles, if
The
they
muggles, yes.
yeah, marketing muggles, if they're aware,
Or is this just our superpower, that we go through life noticing things like that, but it's subtle to everyone else?
they may just be like, "That was a crappy commercial." I say that
Right.
too, but often my second brain kicks in and goes, "Well, maybe you're just not the target," you know?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Most people I don't think would say that. Yeah.
Right, right. But have you ever seen a commercial where you're like, "I know I'm not the target, but this is just bad."
Every Super Bowl, I do that because I have the cost in my
Yes.
head. Like, this was $30 million for a 5-second spot. What? And that's what you
Yeah.
just spent it on. Yeah, anyone that's managed a marketing budget, things like that, right?
Somewhere there's a marketer who probably should be fired for making a terrible, or like somehow how these ads make it through. I think sometimes it's like groupthink, like, oh, well, let's add this and let's add that. And then by the time it gets approved,
Yes.
it's like terrible.
Absolutely. Or it's tone deaf with the times. You're seeing more of that. I think there was a Sephora ad earlier this year with Mariah Carey that I think really missed the mark tonally
Mm,
of where we are as a society. And there was a lot of pushback. American Eagle had a similar situation. So you don't have to agree politically, but you have to kind of understand what the impact might be for a percentage of the population and decide whether or not to take a risk or
yeah.
move forward with something that might be perceived as offensive. So I do wonder what layers of approval some of those have. And
Yeah.
it makes me very thankful to work for a smaller company, for a startup where you have less people, but we're probably a little more thoughtful before we push something out.
Because you have to be.
You have to be.
You have to be.
You cannot risk your brand reputation,
Yeah.
right?
Constraints really force you into being a little bit more creative about things. But one thing,
Absolutely.
I just want to float this by you. The thought just occurred to me. I wonder if, yeah, I think the political thing is like an electric fence. You don't touch that because you alienate people,
Yeah.
no matter what you do. But I almost wonder, is a bad commercial, like a bad commercial, better than a bland commercial? So I wonder if the Super Bowl in particular, like I
Is
remember, and they're gonna get free advertising for this, damn it. But like Oatly, which I don't drink because apparently it's just chemicals, so I've heard.
it is.
They
Yeah.
were like in a field because
Because that's where oats are.
yeah, they were the CEO was in a field playing like a baby piano, and it was
Oh,
terrible. And I
lovely.
hated every minute of it. And so now all I can do is rant and rave about how much I hate this commercial. And no, it hasn't turned me into an Oatly fan. No, still hate it, but I've talked about it ad nauseum, probably.
And the big key here is it's Oatly.
Thank you. Yeah, right?
Right? And associating the brand is like they've won at that point if you're thinking about it, talking about it. Do you remember the Quiznos commercials from the 90s with the weird rat hamsters? I don't know if this was a regional
What?
thing. Just
Quiznos
Google weird rat hamster Quiznos,
rat commercial?
and they like screamed. They were terrible and
Yeah,
everyone hated them, but everyone talked about
I'm
them.
looking at it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
terrible.
it's terrible, but there is a certain level of effectiveness with that.
Right. Almost like that's like really bad.
Yeah, there were drugs involved for sure on that marketing team. I think the 90s are a different time, but that
Yeah,
was a choice.
that was a choice.
And I still remember them.
Did you ever see the Super Bowl commercial? I don't know what year it was, with just a QR code floating around the screen.
Yes,
Like, how had
yes,
no one else thought of that?
right, exactly. Yeah, and but how did that do? How many clicks did they get? You know,
I'm sure they got a billion.
and what company was it?
I don't remember. It was like a Bitcoin company or something.
Probably. Yeah, that sounds like Coinbase or
Commercial
something.
Coinbase, yeah,
Yeah.
with the QR code. It was, yeah, I don't even know. But yeah, it was probably something like that. You're right. But I mean, they sort of buried the lead because you didn't know who it was. Yeah, it was Coinbase. 2022, apparently.
Yep,
Um,
that sounds right.
but at least they had tracking.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope to God they put
They
like UTM parameters on that Bitly, like
that is the one company that has solved the whole like television to digital
right.
kind of transformation there and being able to track. I would really hope that they did, but who knows? Coinbase has deep pockets. They could have just dropped the ball. They didn't even use a marketer.
Yeah, they didn't talk to marketing at all. It was just somebody that made a decision in some
Exactly. It was just
silo. God. Could you imagine them not? I think there's a high percent chance that they didn't track that.
1000%. If there's someone from Coinbase out there, please let us
Yeah,
know.
please let us know.
I really want it.
I almost feel like I need to find out because it'll hurt my soul to hear that they didn't track.
that they didn't. And that it was just some random developer or tech bro that put that commercial together, and we're talking about it 3 years
Oh,
later.
God. The Coinbase commercial with the QR code.
Surely someone's done a deep dive on this.
Right. I hope so. This will have to be researched and we'll report back to everyone after the pod. Well, I have a question for you. Like, what's coming around the bend? What are you excited about from the future?
Oh, I made that face
Yeah.
because I'm overwhelmed by AI, but 2025 has been the year that I have really leaned into it, and my team leaned into it in terms of, really just helping with some tasks. And there's part of me that doesn't want to admit how helpful it's been, but there's part of me that is so grateful. And so I think keeping up with the technology, I
Yeah.
know in the last session that we did, we talked deeply about kind of the technical side of
Hmm.
GEO and what that's going to look like. And it is so overwhelming,
For real.
especially for a small team that doesn't have a technical person to help with that sort of thing. But it also reminds me of the early days of SEO, like 2008, 2009, which I know some people will say that's not early day. For me, it's early days. Um, Back when it was kind of everyone was trying to figure out the algorithm and everyone was succeeding in
Yeah.
it and passing along the information. So there were a few little on-page tricks you can do to make sure you showed up in the SERPs, and um, just kind of starting that over. There's something fun about that. And I know there are people far more advanced and knowledgeable about this than myself, and I look forward to learning from them.
Yeah. I think this is kind of an inflection point year, right? Like,
Yes.
because it's been going fast and all that, but I think now finally it's like, okay, we got to pay attention to this, you know?
Yes,
Are you
exactly.
tracking all your inbound from AI?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what percentage it should be because we're so new, but
Sure.
we've certainly gotten some, and that is, that's definitely catching my attention.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's funny. I've seen ChatGPT as like a referral source. I haven't seen other ones.
I haven't either. It's all chat GPT at this
It's
point
all
that I've
ChatGPT.
seen come through.
Where's everyone else? Are we maybe just not showing up for that? I wonder.
Well, like people are using things like Perplexity, right?
Sure.
I don't know. That's a great question. Is it just not trackable in our systems? Are they not sending over the right parameters in order for us
It's a
to
great
see
question.
it in our automation tools? I think we need a deep dive on
We
this.
do. We do. We'll file that away with the Coinbase ad.
There you go.
Something to report
2
back.
follow-ups.
We'll have to put it, our next in our next CTM meeting. We'll have to be like, just so
Yeah.
you guys know, those that listen to
Yeah.
the pod, here's what we found.
Here's the follow-up. Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, really, next, like, who are you? Who are you? Like, can you
Great question.
take me back in time, like little you days? Did you know you're gonna be a marketing leader and all this badass stuff, or what was it like?
Yeah. I'll tell you my marketing origin story. It's one of my
Oh,
favorite stories to tell. Growing up, I watched a lot of commercials. Like I understood a bit of what marketing was, but I didn't really understand that it was a career.
yeah.
So when I was 17 years old, I was a straight B student. I was in no way, shape, or form like star of the class, excelling at everything. I had very few things that I knew everything about, but one of those things was this very small band called NSYNC that a few people have heard of.
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, they did okay back then. And I like that information I consumed was every issue of Bot magazine, I had it all.
Wow.
And local radio station said they sponsored with or they had a sponsorship with Nabisco, and they put out a contest to write a 50-word essay, 50 words, which is very short,
Okay.
on NSYNC's favorite Chips Ahoy cookies. And I heard that on the radio, and I said, I can do that.
Yeah.
But I didn't just write an essay. I went and this is the one time I was ever type A my entire life. I went to the store. I looked at every package of Chips Ahoy cookies that they had. I wrote down every flavor, and this was like 1999. This was like, they
Wow.
had a few. It's not quite like today. And I wrote an essay on, Joey's favorite Chips Ahoy cookie is chunky, and Justin likes chewy. I can't even remember why. But I put it together on a poster board, and I cut out pictures of the band, and I had them holding Chips Ahoy cookies, and I made it like this big poster board thing, and I mailed it to the radio station. Again, first time in my life I'd ever put effort into anything, but I understood that in order to win this contest, I needed my work to stick out.
Yeah.
There would be lots of girls that just print out a piece, and boys, sorry, I didn't mean to gender that, a piece of paper with all of their 50
It's
words.
okay. I'm a Backstreet fan. I wouldn't have
Oh,
sent mine in,
oh, yeah, you would have lost this contest.
Yeah, I would have.
But yeah, I put in the effort, and I was actually on my way to a Britney Spears concert. It just keeps getting better in terms of millennial, this whole story. And my mom paged me, and apparently I called her back, and I won the contest. The station had left a message, and I got to fly to Orlando. I got to meet the band and have a private contest. And this was something Nabisco had winners in every state. This was they partnered with radio stations across the country. So there were 100 of us that got to go.
Okay.
Because 2 people from every state. And it was amazing. And I said, okay, it finally clicked in my 17-year-old brain. So if I can set myself apart, I can win. And that was the message I got out of it. And then I went to college, and from the bat, I was a marketing major because I put 2 and 2 together. And, the whole Nabisco sponsorship thing, I was kind of like, what is this? What does this mean? I dug more deep into it and recognized that's what it was. So I went to school for marketing. I knew at a very young age, this is what I wanted to do. I have not looked back. My career has aligned in such a way that that's all I've done. And I love it. I
Wow.
think it was a bit of destiny there with that radio station contest. So
That's so
thank you,
cool.
NSYNC. Thank you, Justin Timberlake, I suppose. But yeah, and I tell that story a lot. I tell that story so much that I had a friend text me last night and say, hey, I'm telling another person your origin story, and was it Oreo or Nabisco? It's
Wow.
not only do I have this story, but I'm also promoting, Chips Ahoy cookies, because now I want a chocolate chip cookie for sure.
And you end up promoting it for the rest of your life
Exactly.
for free.
Exactly.
Not for free, for the cost of a flight and all that, and
NSYNC,
NSYNC. Wow.
yeah. So I have a
Yeah.
picture of me with NSYNC, and it has a Nabisco logo in the corner. It's great.
I feel like Nabisco hasn't been cool since that contest.
No, I think that was the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nabisco, if you're listening, and I'm sure you are, I'm sure all of your marketing execs are listening.
Coinbase, Nabisco, all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's time to, use it up a little bit, kind of get back to your roots, and maybe
bring that back. Let's create some marketers with some creative radio station contests, or, Spotify contests, or whatever.
Spotify contests. Yes. If you show up, did you get your Wrapped? Your Spotify?
Oh, I did.
Yes. Did it tell you anything that surprised you about yourself?
It said my listening age was 21.
Hello.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go.
Right? And I think my husband got like 70, so we were like, okay, is this a problem?
Spotify automatically reports you.
Exactly. Like, this is questionable. No, I am in the top 0.06% of listeners of Taylor Swift. And that is a number that each year I get closer to that top.
Really?
And
Wow.
I know
0.06?
I am a millennial at heart. I don't know if you can tell.
I can't.
0.06% of Taylor Swift. Like, if it were NSYNC, sure.
Totally.
But that is a badge I wear.
Okay, so not even a percent, but a fraction of a fraction of a percent.
Fraction of a fraction of a percent.
Wow.
Exactly.
Did you get a custom message?
I did. Yes.
Hey,
custom
Swifty, thanks for supporting me.
Exactly. From Taylor herself, which I felt very appreciated. So
Yeah. You know what happened? Last year I put some obscure song. I was kind of feeling it. It was like a hard rock version of a Disney song. And I just had it
oh
on
yeah.
repeat and I just like did some focused work for a couple hours.
So it skewed your results, didn't
Yeah.
it?
I was like the
Yeah.
number one fan for this band. And he was like, "Hey mate, thanks for listening to me and being my top fan." And I'm like, well, I guess I'll take it. No.
That is the best.
And you know, for everyone's record too, my age was 26, which I will take to the bank.
You'd be proud of that
Take to the bank.
for
See,
sure.
21,
For
it's a
sure.
little young, little young.
It's a little young, I
Yeah.
will admit. I will admit, but I think the swiftiness has something to do with it. I don't know. Like my second top band was Depeche Mode. Like
I had to
that
see
has
your
to age me a
way.
little bit, right?
Did you have K-pop Demon Hunters on repeat or
Absolutely not. I have never I just found out that was a thing. I pride myself in pop culture, and I guess because I don't have kids, just
it's a
learned.
thing. They were on the Macy's parade and everything.
I did see that.
It was
Yep.
wild.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, good for you guys. Good for you. Um, yeah. Well, I have a question for you. It's a bit of a hypothetical question if you're ready for
Sure.
it. Okay. You see, I may or may not have a time machine up here in New Hampshire. So you do your next trip to Boston. Maybe they'll bring inbound back to Boston one day, or whatever the case may be. Shoot me a text. Come a little bit north. It's actually in the backyard, covered in a tarp, right? So
Fantastic.
we
Where
will.
every time machine should be,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right?
I mean, the squirrels are trying to, hide the
They
acorns and everything,
they're
and
practicing. Yeah, whatever.
so it's actually a two-seater, so I can join you on this adventure.
Awesome.
You get to go back in time, but it's a particular kind of time machine where you get to go meet yourself and you get to go see and meet yourself a couple days after getting that marketing, the shiny degree, right? So you just graduated and it's like, here I am with my shiny new BS in marketing. What do you tell yourself?
I I tell myself that you think you have a path in mind in terms of the type of company you want to work for, in terms of the size of company you want to work for. And I would tell that, Emily, do it all. Learn exactly what you love and where your niche is, because not every company is the same when it comes to marketing. Not every type of marketing is the same. Not every strategy is the same. Not every budget's the same. Try it all. See if you like B2B, B2C. See if you like services versus SaaS, or I at one point I worked for a fine art photographer. I worked for baby shoes. I worked for credit unions. I've worked for huge companies like Trimble and really small startups. And I had to go through all of, and I say go through, I had to experience everything in order to recognize that I found a place that I really want to be. And I hope that new marketers starting out understand that you should try it. You don't have to be committed to one company or one job your entire career. That way of thinking is so dated. Try it all, see what you really love. Every company needs marketing. There will always be an opportunity for you to find that niche and really land somewhere that is fulfilling.
Oh man, that's powerful. The follow-up question to that is, do you think you would listen to yourself?
Absolutely not. I would take any job I can take at any type of company. I didn't listen to anyone back then except for NSYNC.
You should be like,
So,
I'm 21. Listen to me, younger
right,
me.
exactly. Like, stop being old and experienced and trying to pass your knowledge on to me. Um, but yeah, just don't be afraid to change things up if they don't feel right. I think that's sage advice, and the more you tell yourself that, the more real it becomes. So maybe I'd travel back
Yeah.
a few times to let little Emily know.
And maybe eventually the third time she's like, okay, I will listen.
Okay,
I'll listen.
I get it, right? Or at some point in her career, she will think back to that conversation
Right.
and say, "Okay, I get it now. I
Right.
understand what she's saying."
And if she doesn't, you just start throwing some slang out there. You
Right.
just be like, that's straight fire. Well, that's slays. 6,
Oh,
7.
yeah, she would be very confused. The 6-7 thing would confuse
I
her,
know.
as it confuses all of
I need
us.
I need some
So
product to like preempt that and like newsjack that number.
Right. Yes. How do we do that? How do we take that
No
back?
one's done that.
That's a great point. And it's got to be something that isn't for Gen Z or Gen Alpha. It has to
Yeah.
be something that the older, the millennials and the Gen X can really embrace and just take our power back, because this has gotten out of control. I think we can all agree.
Like flash write a book real quick and put it in Amazon.
Absolutely. The new success.
I found a t-shirt. I'm not sure if I should get this or not. It is Santa and he's going 6'7", and I'm thinking
It,
that's kind of perfect, but it'll be like this year alone probably is when it works.
it, but if you put it in your closet and 10 years from now you dig it out, then you'll have a little chuckle, and you have to
That's
you have
true.
to think about whether or not that's worth it. I think it would be.
Sits in your shelf for a bit, and then you're like, you
Yeah,
know what?
exactly. And then you're like, that was a time.
Yeah,
That
you
was
guys
a
remember
time.
2025, y'all? Hey, let's go. 6'7".
2025, everyone's best year ever.
Right, because it wasn't 2024 and it wasn't 2020. So
Right.
yeah, dang. Well, hey, last thing I wanted to pick your brain on. I heard you wrote a screenplay and you're like
I
trying to make it into a
Yeah.
novel.
Yeah.
So you and J.K. Rowling hanging out at the coffee shop, or what's going
I
on?
I I don't think so. I don't think it's quite that level.
Okay,
But
way to
yeah,
undersell way to undermarket it.
yeah, that's sometimes that creates demand.
Oddly enough, yeah, right. Your worst marketing campaign does better. The
Ex-
marketing
the
campaign where you
ex-
screw up the first name, dynamic insertion actually gets more clicks. Like,
yeah,
get out
exactly.
of here.
That
Like,
we all know that this is how it works.
right.
Yeah, so I have always been a writer. I have always just filled notebooks with stories my entire life, which probably
Wow.
should have been another clue that marketing might have been the path for me. But in 2012, I just had an idea for what I thought would be a nice, cool. I've pictured it as an indie movie. It's a bit
Nice.
subtle, about dynamics between a couple where one of the people is bipolar. And I ended up writing this screenplay called Swinging Ships. And I went the screenplay route, just because dialogue I think I'm a bit stronger in than prose. So I thought and Aaron Sorkin was a huge inspiration for me at the time. He wrote The West Wing.
Sure.
Um, yeah. And I appreciated his dialogue style. And I thought, I wonder if I can translate this into my own story. So I did. So it actually took me 3 years. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Just the amount of time, the giant whiteboard storyboarding mechanism that I had. And I just spent hours a day on it. And so I have the screenplay, and it kind of sat between 2014 and 2024. And it's been in my mind. I've shared it with certain people in my life, and gotten great feedback on it. And so finally I'm just like, I should make this into a novel and see if I could do that, and see how well I can translate this kind of abstract dialogue
You
that I have in
should.
this screenplay into a novel. So that's what I've been working on in my free time. And I'm really
Wow.
excited about it. And I I I have the same level of passion towards getting it done that I had back then. So it's always nice to have something else to work on. And I've never felt more accomplished than finishing the screenplay. So anyone that's ever written anything, I just have such an appreciation for. It's so much focus, hard work, forethought.
Yeah, man.
Um, so yeah, that's my story about my screenplay. So Swinging Ships is what it's called, and
Swinging ships.
it is a passion project for sure.
So, so Hollywood producers, as
Yeah.
they're listening,
Well,
should
yes.
they reach out to you? Where do you want them to contact you, or anyone else for that matter, who wants to connect with you after the pod?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn is a great place to meet up with me. My name is Emily Ward. There are a few other Emily Wards out there in the world, so Emily Ward Marketing should get you to me.
Okay.
Um, I'm also on TikTok. My handle is M Travels, which I know is not marketing related, but I do travel a bit. And yeah, find me out there.
You had
It'd be
your
great.
own travel TikTok. See, you weren't even
Sort
kidding
of.
about TikTok.
Like, I wasn't kidding that I use TikTok more of an absorber than an actual pusher of content. My content's a bit all over the place. But find me there. The more followers I have, the more inspired I'll be to make more TikTok.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
This is why you got 21 on your age.
You get it. You get it, right? This is this should not be a head scratcher for us. It tracks with my
I hope
habits
you're
for sure.
Snapchatting and a little bit of IG as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely on IG. Snapchat I never got into.
Yeah.
I it I skipped over Snapchat, and I think that's okay because I think its user base has shrunk just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, really? All you have is disappearing messages? And then every app comes out with like, we can make it disappear.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
So they didn't quite keep that market the way that they should have adapted a bit when they saw TikTok in longer form, but not super long form. I don't know. Remember Vine? That
Yeah.
was a trip.
Yeah, Vine.
6-second video.
Hold on. You remember MySpace? Damn.
Right.
Emily, thank you so much for coming on here. I've
Yeah,
had so
thank
much
you.
fun today. We learned a bunch, had fun. Like, that's the combination that I love. So this has been
Good.
just so awesome. And I would just want to thank you for being on here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast. I really appreciated our conversation.
Hell
I look
yeah.
forward to the podcast.
Hell yeah. And those listening, if you learned something, and I freaking know you did, because I literally have 2 pages of notes over here, front and back, then share this with someone. One person, I mean, 9,000 is cool, but who needs to hear about this? Who is not talking to their customers? This is like the perfect masterclass on talking to customers. What are you going to ask them? How are you going to get in front of them? How do you open the door? And yeah, maybe you hear some stuff you don't want to hear and it makes you have to work a little bit harder, but your results will be better. So powerful stuff. Emily, thank you again.
Thanks, Casey. Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. This has been a crazy cool, very exciting episode of the Connect to Market Pod. We will see you all next time. And that wraps up another episode. Thank you for joining. For show notes and other episodes, visit us at connecttomarket.com. Connect to Market is sponsored by Ringmaster, creating podcasts and communities that create relationships, generate revenue, and drive growth.